Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I hope everybody out there is having a good night and staying warm. And if you're not warm, find some place to go to be warm, because I know that it's extremely cold out there. And I wanted everybody to say a prayer for Howard Petrie. He is in the hospital. Hopefully he gets out soon. And I don't know the details. I just know that he was in the ICU yesterday. And I know he's not home yet. So keep him in your prayers, and because that's what we do. We pray, we think, we hope that everybody's going to get better. So tonight my guest is Shelley. She is the owner of the Boyd House in Minnesota, and she is going to come on and she's going to talk to us about her latest Paradestination. So can you bring her on up? Hello.
Hey, Denise, how are you?
Oh, fine. So, as I just said, you're the owner of the Boyd House. Where is the Boyd House?
It's in a little tiny town about 145 miles southwest of the Twin Cities, town of Boyd, Minnesota.
And what's the history of it?
Well, we have our deed that goes back to 1889 on that one, when it was owned by the railroad. The most common, it was built in 1901. So the most prevalent family, I guess we should say, was 1912 when Fred and Minnie Eckhart had moved into the home. And they were very well-respected business people in town. He owned more of a grocery store that was higher-end good stuff, all, fancy furs, foods, and they made their own bologna. He helped build the church. He was on the fire department, the school board. It's a very well-respected man in town, and two of their children actually passed away in the home. One died in infancy, and then one choked to death. And then both Fred and Minnie passed away in the home as well. And then in the 70s, we had another lady, she passed away. She was elderly in the home. So we have those basically 5 confirmed deaths in the home. And then we have other spirits in the house, too, that don't correlate to anything. And I don't really know why they're there. But, there they are.
Do they make themselves known to you often?
Yeah, they do. For me, it's more of an equipment interaction, or maybe talk on the spirit box or Estes session with the team. Sometimes I can feel that they're around me. But I've been touched. I've audibly heard voices. Just a whole gamut of things. I personally haven't seen any shadows, but other people have seen shadows. And one team has actually caught 2 shadow figures running it through the kitchen. And we believe that we have some pre-adolescent children. One we believe is probably, I think, is around 11, and the other one's around 8. I just get that feel. One male, one female, and they've caught shadows of them walking. My husband's actually seen a woman standing on the stairwell. He was just coming in the front door carrying some stuff. He just happened to look up, and he saw a woman standing there. He said, very similar style hair, same color, kind of brownish color. But she was wearing white. And then I kind of looked away, and I looked back, and he goes, and then you weren't there. He goes, and then I realized it wasn't you. So he's actually seen a full apparition. I'm kind of jealous about it, but
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, I know.
I've heard a lot of stories about people saying, "Oh, I wish I could see," and you go, "No, I don't."
Yeah, as long as they don't. My fear is if wake up in the middle of the night, open your eyes, and somebody's standing there. That would really creep me out. So if it ever happens that I see an apparition, I don't want it to go down like that.
It's weird. Believe me, it's weird. And even when you've lived it your whole life, you don't get used to it. It still kind of, wakes you right up, when you get up and you go, oh crap, what in the hell?
Right. Yeah. I like to say I think I'd be really brave, but I don't know. I don't know how I'd react, or would it just happen so quick that you don't have time to react? It's just kind of well, I guess someday maybe it'll happen and I'll find out, but
no one has come to you and said, hey, you have a demon in the Boyd house, have they?
I think I've had a couple people say that they feel like there is, but I don't believe. I personally haven't experienced anything demon-like, evil, anything like that. I I don't know, maybe they had something following them from somewhere, or maybe something got left behind a little bit from another group prior and then it left. I don't know. But me personally, no, I've never had that. And I haven't had a lot of people say anything like they've been scratched or pushed or growled or anything like that. So,
Well, that's good. 'Cause sometimes I think that that's one of the things that has to really be monitored, you know, because the last thing people want to hear is, hey, I'm going into a place that's, demon infested.
right, right. But I've been to places that have that claim too, and I didn't get that feel. Doesn't mean that they aren't. Just that particular day. We've gone to a couple places like that and we're like, nobody leave each other's side, and the next thing you know, nobody gets that impending doom feel, and next thing you know, we're all just off doing our own thing, and then I'm like, oh wait, we were all supposed to be together. So I think it just depends on the group, the way the feel is. I don't know. I feel like there's not as much evil and demons out there. I mean, they're there, but I feel like it's rare. It's more probably like a grumpy ghost or something, and somebody took it to a whole new level.
Yeah. Yeah, you walked on the grass when you shouldn't have, kind of thing. You always have what grumpy old man kind of feel sometimes at some of those places. But I just don't like when people instantly assume that bad is evil.
Right.
Or irritating, irritable is a demon.
Right.
Otherwise we would all be.
Yeah, like we've been to, so Whispers Estate is known for, really kind of evil, mean type spirits. I don't know. I don't think anybody says demonic, but they are not. There are a lot of not very friendly spirits in that building. And Teresa actually was in a chair and was thrown out, her and the chair thrown 3 feet across the room. So was it demonic? No, because we know this backstory of that guy. He dropped dead of a heart attack on the day he was retiring. So he's pretty ticked off about it. And he doesn't want anybody around his equipment. That's where he would store his equipment at the end of the night. That was like his closet. Mm-hmm. So of course he's ticked off that somebody's sitting in their closet. And that doesn't mean he's demonic. He's just, that's his closet and you shouldn't be in there. So
what you should take from that is retire earlier. So, because how many people, think about it. How many people back in, just go back about 10 years ago who would retire and the next week pass away?
Mm-hmm.
Ron's uncle, he retired and not long after he died, and is like, that's not even fair. You work your whole life and you don't even get to enjoy it. And, it's sad that happens. I think I'd be irritated and be taking it out on everybody else if I just suddenly retired and then I'm dead.
Yeah, you didn't even get to enjoy 1 minute of it, So, yeah, I can see where that guy's coming from for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's the reason why we already moved, so we can start practicing being retired. So, that makes sense to me. So, so you said that you bought a new Paradestination. What? Okay, so where is it? What is it? And why?
Well, having the Boyd house, I kind of wanted to move up to a little bit bigger property. Of course, I'd love to have an asylum, but I don't have that kind of money. But, so I've always been kind of looking more for a commercial property versus a house, just to kind of just try my hand at that. And I kind of came across this Masonic Lodge that was built in 1861. It's located in Keithsburg, Illinois. So for me, I was like, oh, it's so far away, but it's like, it almost was calling to me. Like I really just had to have this building. So we went out there, took a look at it. And kind of a funny thing is when we got there, our realtor was having a hard time getting the padlock to work. We couldn't get it to unlatch, and she was tugging on it, pulling on it. So my husband noticed that there, if we could maybe take it apart with a screwdriver by taking the latch off the door frame. Mm-hmm. So he was walking over to the gas station to see if they had tools. And then in the meantime, she's on the phone trying to see if there's a different way in. And I walked up and I touched the padlock and it popped right open. So I was like, oh, look it, they want me in. So I was like, are you kidding me? I've been pulling on that. I'm like, I don't know. I got, so I got lucky. I don't know. I kind of feel like that was a sign. But I walked in and I got the feels pretty much right away. And I was just in awe of all the woodwork was there. A lot of it, the natural, still the woodwork. And it just, I don't know. I just fell in love with it. We got a couple EVPs on the walkthrough. Not a whole lot on the spirit box, but again, this building's been abandoned for many, many years. So I'm sure this was kind of different, but we did get a couple EVPs. I couldn't always make out what they were. Sometimes it was a whisper. And as much as I tried, I'm like, oh, I can't figure it out. But it was somebody saying like 3 words. We did get the word body from a little kid. So that was kind of interesting, which I was like, why are there kids at the lodge? But now that I've purchased it, we actually have a lot of evidence pointing to, well, definitely that there are children there as well.
So you basically investigated a little bit when you bought it. How long ago did you buy it?
We bought it. We closed on it in September of 2023.
Okay.
Not very long. I've only been out there 4 times.
Okay. Has any other teams investigated it?
Nope, not yet. We actually are open for investigation started May 1st. So then we're going to see what other people get from there. We've had quite a bit of activity just in the 4 times that we've been there. So just some crazy stuff going on.
And so are you only going to be open like May to October?
Yeah, right now we're going to be seasonal just because we have the no heat, no electric, no power at this point. But we do have a porta potty for people to be available for, at least for that. So that's how we'll start. And then through with people coming to do the investigations, eventually we will be able to add those services.
Well, McPike only has a porta potty.
So,
and sometimes we hook up a hose to a sink and so we can wash hands and stuff. So during the campouts we do, but normally there's not. There's just a porta potty out there all the time. So because there's no water in the house right now.
Right. Same with us too. Yeah, there's no running water, no electric, and so which for me with the no electric I really like because we've been really getting some hits with like EMF different, like the EMF ropes, the lanterns, the regular K2 meter. So for me, I find it a little bit more validating being as there is no power to that house at all. And I've even had we just got a China hutch and we've been having people donate us a lot of different Masonic items. We have books and Bibles and clothings and pins and such. And I put the K2 meter inside the China hutch with these items and the K2 starts going off. It's not constant, but it does go off. And I was just like, well, that's crazy because there's no power and it's in a China hutch. So, explain that one.
Well, one thing you got to watch out for is pipes. Pipes can carry EMF.
Yeah.
The old metal pipes.
Mm-hmm.
So, because more than likely you don't have all PVC plumbing yet.
No, when I've gone down there, yeah. But we get it too on the upper floor where there shouldn't be any piping as well. So, but yeah, that is a good thing to pay attention to too as well.
There's a lot of things that people don't realize may give off EMF, or give off something that's going to make a meter go off, Right. Sometimes sewer gas will do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. But, hopefully, it'll be warm enough in May to where people won't feel so cold. I mean, I don't know how far north Keysburg is in Illinois. How far is it from Chicago?
You know what? I don't know. I didn't look that up. Okay. but from the Twin Cities of Minnesota, it's about 6 hours. It's more on the southern end. So actually, once you cross over Iowa, it's about 30 minutes in off of Iowa.
Okay.
So not not too far. Usually they get a little bit warmer than we do, a lot faster. So I think that's why. I think next year I'll be able to open up in April. I just haven't. I don't know what it's going to be like, and I got to get some stuff done too before. So we'll just have to see how the weather plays out. So hopefully then I can be open 1 month sooner. But it does get cold. My team stayed there in October and November, and I just had to bring one of those propane heaters, and we just like locked ourselves out one room, and then we'd go out and get freezing cold, and then come back and warm back up again. And
here's a trick that people don't realize: bring small tents and put them up in those rooms, and you kind of get a little bit of. You can keep heat inside a little bit more, because we would do that at Malvern Manor. We would set up tents so that we could have, first of all, privacy, but second of all, heat.
Yeah.
You might be breathing on yourself, but you're still going to be warmer than if you're not. Because Malvern, all the windows are either boarded up or uncovered.
Yeah.
So, and right now you said, before the show, you said that a lot of the windows are broken out.
Yeah, we ended up putting plastic over those, and then there's ones that are complete. There's I think like 2 or 3 that are completely broken out that they just have board over it, but we put like a plastic over it. It was actually kind of funny because we were up there. I'm like, oh my God, it is so cold up here. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these windows. What we had in the morning, then I came and I looked at them because I'm like, well, I got to see, because some of them were stuck down with it below where we couldn't get them all the way up. And then it was kind of funny because when we came during the day, then upstairs, I looked, half of them were just dropped down and they just had to be pushed back up and then locked. So here we were freezing up there the whole night with the windows all wide open, and they didn't have to be. So it was a little warmer up there now, but yeah, they're old. Some of them are broken, but yeah, we got a ways to come yet.
Yeah, I bet you do. And what other work needs to be done?
Yeah, I think just like the roof is the main thing, doing the windows, and then if we want to add the electric plumbing. Otherwise, it's in really good shape. It's holding kind of its own, So I mean, I might think of things along the way, that I want to do, or how I do want to do some decorating and things like that too. We do have like a little bit of artwork now that I found that were like kind of patriotic things and things that look like they would fit in a lodge. They seemed to like that when I brought it. They were like answering on a REM pod that they did like that artwork. And, I bought them a Masonic flag, an American flag. So we got to get the poles now so they can hang up by the podium that I brought in. So yeah, just kind of bringing stuff back with the dining room. We heard was a dining room. So we ended up getting 3 kitchen tables and just kind of lining them like one big long mess hall in a way, and then tons of chairs for that. So we're kind of trying to do what we can to bring it back. Hopefully I can talk to a couple more of the locals. It's a really great town. Everybody's super friendly. Find out a little bit more of some people who were Masons at that lodge. Maybe they can at least tell me, what was in that room. What did it use for? What did it look like? What kind of furniture did they have? So maybe I can bring it back to that state.
Is the Eastern Star, is that part of the Masons?
Yeah, that's like the female version of that. And they were affiliated with that. So they had Mary Burns. She was the part of the Eastern Star in that town for the women. And we actually have her. She's got like an ice bucket, which is really just a little styrofoam bucket, but her name's written on it. And it says "Do not remove." So we kept that. We found a little play from the Eastern Star, a little ticket for that. I don't even remember the name of it now. And then we found a pamphlet that's got like different songs that they would play. And then, excuse me. And then we found different, like your grand old flag, and it had like different other songs on it. And then I found like all the skeleton keys to the house because all the doors have the old locks. And so I actually had to buy a generic one to get into this locked closet. And then when I was just kind of cleaning, all of a sudden I hit my hand up and I hear this ting. And you're like, what is that? So on a nail, there was like 10 skeleton keys. hanging there, and they're all like different shapes and stuff. So I got that, and then ironically, I found the key for that closet in a cabinet in the kitchen when I was cleaning. So I'm like, oh, there we go.
So I'd like to say hi to Susan and Ed. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys are having a great night. Hope you're warm. So you said that you're going to be working on getting a new roof for that. And have you had any interest? Has anybody said anything to you about coming to check it out?
Yeah, we actually, I think, have like 8 reservations right now. So we're looking forward to seeing what those people get while they're there, and hopefully we can get more people out there, and we'll be hitting the convention circuit just to kind of promote the lodge and stuff so that we can help restore the building.
It's in Keysburg, Illinois.
Where's that?
She said about a half hour over the state line from Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I figured.
No, that's okay. I know I should get a little bit more of the demographics because people ask, and I'm like, I don't know, it's Southern.
Well, you know what? People will look it up. You know, right. From where they live, it's going to be much more interesting. You know, how do I get there from here, kind of thing. So, but yeah, we have a really interesting Mason's Lodge and Eastern Star Hall here in Milton, Florida. And you can get into the downstairs, normally, but there are no stairs inside. So you have to let the stairs down to go upstairs.
Oh, wow.
Inside. And it's been moved around a few times. It's a 2-story building. So they moved it to the location that it is. And it was part of the school system for a little while. And they still hold meetings there. And it was also used as a hospital during the Civil War. And of course, we had a yellow fever outbreak here way back in the day. Of course we did. It's Florida. There's mosquitoes everywhere. So yeah, there was that. And so it was used for a lot of different things, but it's consistently been Mason's Hall. So, and it's right on our main road. So, it was one of the first buildings we saw when we came out looking at houses. And it's like, that's just odd looking, seeing these stairs that you pull up,
Yeah.
We have a lot of that anyway, because they use them for the docks, for the boats and stuff, same kind of thing. So it's not shocking. It just looks weird when you're not from an area like this with so much history.
Right.
So for you to get a building in the 1830s, isn't that what you said? 1830s?
1861.
1861. Oh, that's about the same time that Pike Mansion was built.
Yeah, I just love it. And when I did research, I believe it was either the second or third building built in that town. I can't find any information prior to. I just got the deed. So it looks like in like 1919 is when somebody bought it for the lodge, but I don't know what happened from 1861 until 1919. I can't find any information so far on that. So prior to that, I don't know, but up to that, it's pretty much been a late Mason's Lodge up until about 2020 or so.
I would look at newspaper articles going back for that area, but has the names of the streets changed? Who owned the bigger plot of land? Was it broken up into pieces?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things it makes it hard to tell when things change, because things change. Try looking at the Sanborn fire maps.
Okay.
Those are always interesting, and a lot of the colleges have access to those. You can see them. Like I could see them for Missouri. I could see them through Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
In Kansas, it was K-State. So it might be an option.
Yeah, and I know we're kind of limited to it as far as what you can find online. So We do have a plan. The last week of April, I'll be up there for the full week, and I'll hopefully be able a chance to get to. They actually have like a little museum in town about their town and a little bit about Illinois history. And also, I was thinking of going to the Mercer County Historical Society because I'm sure they have some stuff there too that I should be able to look at. So hopefully, we can develop and get some more information.
Hopefully you can call them and they can get it together before you get there, so you're not spending all your time digging through archives.
That's true too.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
So I know that, in down here it's kind of hard to get stuff because a lot of stuff may have been wiped out with hurricanes and fires and things like that. Because our downtown was wiped out 3 times by fire. So, and it's right on a river. And of course, you got flooding and hurricanes coming in. I was complaining. I know, first world problems. I was complaining because the library doesn't have enough books. What kind of person does that, So
well, I do know we found. I did kind of look at one of those archive library things. I did find, quite a few things. It was mostly about who got nominated for when and that kind of stuff. But I did find like a really cool article that they did have this big picnic back. I believe it was 1912, and like over 1,000 people came, and they took the train into town, and it was a big to do, and they had games and food, and so it was kind of interesting to kind of see a little bit of information on that. So that's kind of a fun read.
It is. I mean, I know when I used to do a lot of research on Atchison, Kansas, because I was a tour guide there at the Sally House and stuff. And I was always doing something for the town. And one time there was this huge party that I found that was at the Gargoyle House. Okay, it's not really the Gargoyle House, but it has things on it that people would call gargoyles, and they were griffins. But long story short is that thousands of people would come to this party in town because the president would come. And so I don't remember which president now, but the current president came, and it had the biggest law library west of the Mississippi in that house at one time. So, I mean, it was huge as far as the town went. And when you think about it, it's like, this was probably the only house right there at the time. It was probably out in the boonies, not really actually in downtown, in Atchison like it is now. Mm. So when you think about that, think about the population. What was it as populated as it is now, or as housey, as many houses as there is now?
Right.
But actually, it was more populated back then than it is now. But there's more houses now than there are people. But that's a whole different ballgame. But it's the same with your party. Is it, how has the town grown since then? It's grown so much that this amount of people would be unusual back then.
Yeah, I forget it was not that big of a population. And right now, I think they're only at like 600 people.
Oh, okay.
So it's a smaller town. But
it's huge. It's a huge deal then that all these people came.
Right. So it's a lot, bigger than Boyd, which is only 175 people.
So and when people come to stay either at the Boyd House or at the Keysburg Masons Lodge, are there places that they can go to eat, or convenience stores, things like that they're going to be looking for?
Well, Boyd has nothing because it's in the town's in the middle of a cornfield. So they have nothing. There is a cafe, but they're very limited hours. So most of the time when the paranormal people are there, they're not open. But we do provide a microwave. We do have a little pizza maker people can have. We provide some snacks. So just, a few amenities while people are there. With Keysburg, there's actually a bar restaurant next door, and the food is fabulous. I've been there several times. I just love it. And then the Casey's gas station is pretty much across the street and behind us. So you can get your snacks, you can get a pizza. So,
at least until 11 o'clock.
right. They do close, but they're at least closed from that. And then they're back open at like 6, so you get your coffee in the morning. So
Yeah, and you know what? You can't go wrong with Casey's Pizza anymore. It's
no,
after.
they're good.
I mean, we're to the point. We don't have them down here. I think the closest Casey's to us is Arkansas. I think so.
Wow.
The closest Quick Trip to us is Birmingham.
Jeez.
So, but yeah, there's some things that I do miss, some things I don't. But so at least you got something, because when we go to Malvern Manor, we will always took food with us because it's a small town like Keysburg, and I would just bring all the stuff to make chili cheese hot dogs and nachos.
Mm-hmm.
And we just basically keep it in crock pots, and it's ready whenever anybody's ready, and it worked out.
Yeah. And we'd always bring sandwiches or whatever, chips, or, stop in a town before we got there with pizza to eat later. So.
Well, I always try to make a liquor cake. That always helps. Rum cake works for everything.
There you go.
So, at least in my mind. So do you have any idea how much you're going to be charging? And how much do you charge for the Boyd house for an overnight?
Yeah, Boyd is $225 a night, and that's, you get the house from 3 p.m. till noon the next day, and then that covers up to 8 people in the house. Some people will ask if they can bring 9, and I'm a little flexible, but I just kind of feel like, because it's a smaller house, it's only 2,100 square feet. And then you have like those old-fashioned grates between the floors so you can really hear. And I feel if you want to get that really good paranormal experience, or without, the contamination, kind of that house is more, less is more. But they seem to be more reactive when you have a group versus we've had people just come by themselves. I think they like the energy, and they probably get some of the energy from off those people as well. So I think like 4 is a really good number. 4 to 6, I think, has been a good number.
Well, that's good. It's double the size of Villisca.
Yes, Villisca is very, very small. Villisca is crazy, but I love Villisca. But yeah, and then the lodge, we're doing $350 a night. You can bring up to 10 people, and then that one I'm going to do the same time like I did with Boyd, 3 p.m. till noon the next day. So in that one,
are you going to find a caretaker in town there?
Yeah, we got somebody lined up that's going to mow the lawn for us. And then it's same with Boyd. I kind of do it as like a self-checkout thing. So that, out of respect, you take your garbage and you take it out to to my garbage receptacle. And that's all you really need to do. So which is not asking a whole lot. And honestly, people are really, really good. Like, I am amazed many times when I come to the Boyd house. I don't live super close because I can't get in there after every single investigation. But, I've even, some people email, hey, great stay. Hey, we mopped the floor for you. Hey, we vacuumed. It's just really great that, the paranormal community is willing to pitch in and do that. So I've never really had anybody, as far as I know, like leave all their garbage and not take care of the place. So.
Well, that's good. So do you have like an electronic locks on it so you don't have to worry about that stuff?
Just like the old padlock, the keypads on the door lock thing. So yeah, you just use that, and then so everybody's pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's a good way to go, because you can change those locks on the fly.
Right. Yeah, I can change the code when I want to. It works out well because even I'm not there to meet people and give a tour again because I'm not super close. But if I was, it would be hard to have your schedule like, oh, this person's coming at 3, this group's going to come at 5, and then you just, your life is just up in air as when somebody's going to show up. So it's just easier to do it that way, and nobody's ever seemed to have a problem with it. So,
well, that's good. So I mean, that's trying to be hands-on when you need to be, and hands-off when you should be or need to be. That works out,
right?
It's basically it's the difference between a micromanager and a macro manager.
Right.
I've kind of had both. I like the macro better than the micro. So do you have a day job as well?
Yeah, I do. I work full time. I'm a surgical technician, so I assist in surgery every day. So I just kind of help get the surgery set up, and I do all kinds of surgery from general to orthopedic surgery, kind of trained in a lot of different things.
So, so this, so this other stuff is truly on the side.
Yes.
It's not your main source of income.
Oh yeah, it's no source of income really, other than me putting money out into it. Again, like I said, I use basically all the money to redo stuff and to fix things. So,
So it's an income suck.
yeah, it's pretty much, you break even, hopefully you get a little enough to fix things. But like Boyd, we've put a new roof on. We've had some repairs of some, things that have broken down. Some of the pumps, to go out to the sewer have broken. So we had to replace those. Some electrical work. Right now we have one window. We need a bunch of windows, but we definitely wanted to be repaired because it's really fallen apart, where it's actually separating from the house. And then we need to get like back stairs done. So yeah, there's different things that we're always putting money into just to renovate it and take care of it. So painting, we want to get it painted on the outside too. So just a lot of things to be done.
I know it's a lot of work. So good luck to you. It's like I have a hard time finding one day to go do something other than my normal stuff. But to have something else that's drawing my attention.
Yeah.
Or my ability to do the other stuff I need to do. That how do you keep all this, how do you have time for all of it?
I don't know. It just seems to work. It seems to work, but we also a lot of the actual work like that we hire out versus at home we'll try some stuff. And there's a few things like we did all the wallpapering by ourselves, but that stuff you can slowly work on. That's all cosmetic. But like when it comes to doing the stairs and things, we kind of hire out professionals. But my husband would probably tell you otherwise because every time he goes down there, the poor guy, I'm like, oh, we only have this, this, and this to do. And next thing you know, he's got his tools out. He's fixing this, putting this is broken, and then he's like working all day or a tree fell and he's got to cut that up. And, so there's just a lot of different like things that keeps him busy while he's there.
So does he enjoy that?
Well, probably not. Okay. No, I mean, he doesn't complain. Honestly, he's so good. He does things because he loves me.
Okay.
And he also knows that, it's good. It's good. He doesn't.
So you're saying it benefits him to make you happy.
Pretty much. Yes. That's what it boils down to. Yep.
So is your husband involved in the paranormal at all?
No, not really. But like I said, he's interested in what I do and what I find. So like he likes to watch my videos. We talk about it, of course. But like doing it is not his thing. There's a few times where he's had to step in where everybody's bailed on me and I have a trip booked and you can't get your money back or whatnot. So we just go and, he'll sit in the background and he's yawning and he's bored and it's not his thing. But helping me out, he likes doing that. So.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So we do have a question here from Susan. She asks, is liability insurance high for something like this?
Yeah, it is. It's something I never thought about. So on top of my regular insurance, I have to have an umbrella policy for liability for if people sue me, get hurt, and that kind of thing. So the actual cost of my insurance is way higher than you would if you were just doing a regular homeowner's thing. And there's also people don't think about too is your taxes are higher too, especially so now my little higher taxes on the lodge because it's considered commercial property. So as a business, you're paying more in property taxes, and then for Boyd House because it's considered short-term rental, that's considered Airbnb tax, which is a much higher tax bracket than what you would normally get charged that for your normal average homesteaded home in that particular town. So there's a lot of added costs. Like a lot of times I used to sit there and think that too, when, I'd go to places and I'm like, oh my gosh, they charge this much times this, they're making this much money. but I never factored in all those overhead cost things, the insurance and taxes and
Yep.
everything.
Everybody's got their hand out.
Yep. So it's like I totally see where it's like it's usually for most people, I'm going to tell you, it's probably a break even, maybe a little bit of profit. So
I know that in Atchison they had a bed tax basically
mm-hmm.
for the Airbnbs. That's how the Sally House got away with a lot of it. They told people they couldn't sleep in the beds. They
Mm-hmm.
had to sleep in, in their sleeping bags and stuff like that. People still slept in the beds, but they told them that they couldn't and that it wasn't allowed. But it never stopped them. But it was one way to keep their taxes down. Plus, the city was the one operating it, so they could get away with it.
Sure.
But that's one of the things that people don't realize is that's basically what it is. How many people can stay there is how they tax it a lot of times.
Right.
I don't know if that's everywhere, but I know down here in Florida, there's a lot of weird things that they can charge for. Well, you have to realize we're in an area where there's a lot of tourists. In fact, we've met a very nice family today from Minnesota at the beach. And they said it's still cold, but not as cold as it is up there. But they were all in the water having a great time. So, you think about that, and they were saying that their Airbnb sleeps like 25.
Wow.
And I know here there's a lot of bunk beds in a lot of rooms, and I think and that's how they book them. So it may be the same thing as, what you're talking about with the taxes. So I never thought about all that. I knew that it was expensive to have a business, period. And for the commercial one, if somebody's walking across your parking lot and they fall and they break an ankle, they can sue you.
Right.
So they just have to be in the general vicinity, and so that one makes sense. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you know what? You do it because you love it. I wouldn't want to do it any other way. So it just brings me a lot of joy. And even though I go there and I pretty much work the whole time, and don't get as much time to investigate as I'd like to, I still really am enjoying myself for the day. Boyd House for me is a little bit more work because it is a home. So there's a lot more type cleaning to be done. So there's we do more dusting, more vacuuming, the mopping of stuff, where the lodge is just kind of the lodge and it's pretty open. Once we get it done, we're pretty much done. We've washed all the woodwork down because there was like a layer of filth on everything.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to go through now when the weather gets warmer so we can actually mop the dirt off the floor. But we did do one little spot before it got too cold, and the oak floor underneath it's just gorgeous. So that we got to bring our generator out so that we can vacuum and stuff upstairs that has carpeting. So a little bit getting that cleaned up. But then after that, it's not like we have to do, thorough heavy cleaning every single time we come. So I would be able to get a little bit more investigation time at the lodge versus the Boyd House.
So you said generator. Were you saying that about the Boyd House or
for the lodge? Yeah,
lodge,
yes,
okay.
Yeah. We have a generator.
I'm just trying to keep them straight.
Yeah, no. The Boyd we're open 365 as long as the weather holds in the winter that you can get passable on the roads down there. But that one we have heat, electric. We have 2 bathrooms. We have a bedroom and then just a bunch of like recliners, and most people bring their air cots and stuff. But so that's open year round. We have like window units for air conditioning there. Like I said, at the lodge right now we have nothing. It's primitive. So.
Well, I wish you all the luck in the world with the lodge, and I know that this isn't my first time talking to you. We ran into each other at Marshalltown Paracon up there, and so I believe I met you right after you bought the Boyd House.
Yeah, I think that's
the first time I had you on, anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
So. How's it changed over the years owning the Boyd House?
It's just gotten busier, and just a lot of feedback. Met a lot more great people, and like I said, love hearing their experiences. And we always talk about doing a convention, but I'm a talker, not always a doer. So, but yeah, I think other than just from how when we first got it, it was very gutted. There wasn't really a whole lot to it. It was like a shell. And I feel like I brought it back to the more like a homey feel with everything we've done throughout. Gosh, I think we're going on 5 years now. Sometimes I just look back at pictures from day one and then look at what I've done to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this place looks so amazing. And I hear that from a lot of people. Talk about how they like, the feel of this room and the look of that room. And it just gives me great joy that people are enjoying the house as much as I am.
Do you think has anybody offered to buy it from you?
No, probably because it's just a so little rural town. And, we're, as far as, I think the Boyd House is pretty well known in the ghost community, but not as famous as, say, like an Ashmore Estate or, Waverly Hills Sanitarium. It's not at that status level. But and we got a lot of good fans too that have come back. I have probably about 5 or 6 people that have been there multiple times. So that alone stands out too, knowing that somebody continues to come back over and over again.
Yeah, Ashmore is very similar to the area is similar to where the Boyd House is. If you don't get it in Charleston, you're not getting it in Ashmore.
Right.
So you might as well stop in Charleston, stop at Dairy Queen before you head on in.
Yes.
Or bring food,
Right.
So, but yeah, we've been there twice. We've been invited many more times, and every time something stops me from going.
Mm-hmm.
Something health-wise always kicks in.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, I don't know why that happens. So I just think that something keeps me from wanting to go there. So I want to go, but something says, no, you can't go. I mean, Carl went. We were supposed to go. I'm like, not going to happen. So how often is the Boyd House booked? About how many days a year?
This has been last year and this year has been one of the busiest we've ever had. So right now I have no Saturdays available. Probably I might have a couple in April, but then June's pretty full, and then it's kind of tapering a little bit after that. But yeah, this whole year we've pretty much had no Saturdays. Most Fridays are booked. So it's been really nice and steady and stuff. So it's been really good. A lot of good feedback too.
Congratulations. I'm really happy for you. So hopefully you get the same kind of feedback from your Masons Lodge.
Oh, I think we're gonna. We've had some good stuff ourselves. Like we just recently, when the whole team was there, Teresa was in the kitchen and she was making a sandwich, and I was on the phone, and then my other 2 teammates that they were in the room with me. They were just talking amongst themselves, and then all of a sudden I heard this loud bam, and I thought Teresa dropped like the cooler on the floor. That's how loud it was. And I was like, what? And then she comes running through the door, and she's like, something just slammed something behind me. So then we kind of went in the kitchen, and like I said, it's bare bones. There's really nothing anywhere in this building. So obviously there's nothing on the floor. So the only thing that made that sound is if we opened a cabinet and slammed it really hard. It made the identical sound. So we feel like a spirit would open that and then just slam that right behind her.
I'm like I said, I'm excited for you to find out. What is the name of your paranormal team?
St. Croix Paranormal.
And how long have you guys been a team?
Since 2010. Yeah, so we've been around the block a few times. We just started just doing like local homes and businesses, and then kind of branched out to the more well-known haunted locations, and just kind of stuck at that and kind of quit doing the home investigations.
I know a lot of teams have. some really want to just enjoy the paranormal, and others really want to go out there and figure out how to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not, I'm not saying that you don't want to, because I know you do. But sometimes there's a lot of crap
Yes.
involved.
Yes. There is a lot of that. And then I kind of feel like, sometimes maybe we never got answers. Maybe we got some paranormal activity, but we never got any real true answers for the people. And then I feel I didn't really help them in any way. And then there's certain situations where the spirit was very aggressive towards people in the family, or maybe, bothering the children so much. And that for me, that's really kind of beyond my expertise. Like, yeah, I can prove you have something. I can prove there's something there, but beyond that, I can't help you. So I kind of just felt like I knew of other groups or people that could help them, that, they say they can remove the spirits or calm things down. So I would just refer people to that at that point, because it just became too, I just kind of felt like I almost felt like I was just doing it for me to get the ghost experience versus really truly helping somebody.
I think that's a responsible way to go. So good for you, because, I know that there's a lot of times people don't realize that these people still have to live in their home. And if you've gone in there and riled something up and they still got to live there, what do you do?
Right.
You don't want your name to be associated with that at all. We had that happen. One time I gave some advice to someone. It was when we first got started. And I went with my gut, and, and I don't know if she did something wrong or whatever, but as soon as she told me what happened, I called somebody else and I said, can you contact her and check this out? I didn't give any information as to, what was going on, because, the person was a medium, mm-hmm. and that they said that, I'm a medium. I know what I'm doing. I was like, okay. And I asked him, I said, do you want to know? And she said no. And so I contacted the person who had contacted me. I told them everything that I thought. They come back, and the lady that I had sent to them told them the same exact thing. And nobody knew, the only person who knew what both of us said was the client. Mm-hmm. And I'm, to this day, I'm friends with that person because of the fact that she told her the right thing and it worked. It's just, I had left out one piece.
Yeah.
And that's all that it took. And, but again, I was still not sure about what I knew, where I guess I should have been more sure, and maybe I wouldn't have felt like I screwed the lady over, but I didn't screw her over. That's the thing. I didn't. It just, they needed one more thing, mm-hmm. just one more thing. And it was fine. I've never heard from that lady again.
Well, that's good.
And neither has anybody else that I know of. So, but yeah, I mean, some of these small towns, like where the Boyd House is and Keysburg, may have some unusual history that you don't know about.
Yeah, I do know. Well, interesting. Both places had native back in the day, obviously before any of those towns came around. I do know I have talked to a few locals in Keysburg where it to me, it sounds like pretty much every building in that town is haunted. So it's like,
well, you don't have that many, I guess. So how many buildings are on the historical register there?
I don't know if they're on the historical register. I just know that there's probably, just looking around, I see like 3 or 4 real old looking brick type buildings that you could tell for 1900s. Mm-hmm. One of them looks abandoned, and the other one I saw a light on. So I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't look like it's a business or anything. So I don't know who owns it or what they're doing with it. But then I've had a couple people come forward and just tell me their own personal house is really haunted. So yeah, one guy told me so many stories. I said, "Well, you let me know when you want to buy it or sell it," you know. So I just like,
Well, is the Mason Hall, is it brick?
yeah, it's all brick exterior. Yes.
So do you think that maybe, so what are your thoughts on the stone tape theory then?
Well, I feel like a lot of that can anything like they say limestone, sometimes even like railroad tracks, a lot of that can retain some energy. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're getting some of that energy or even some residual stuff from those as well.
Because a lot of people will say that, and then you look at these old buildings. I mean, down here, you would think that all the old buildings would be brick.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're wood. And so, does wood hold the same energy as stone?
No.
And would they have the same? How are these buildings that haunted if they're wood? It's just one of those things that makes you think about it a little bit on building materials. Are these ghosts going to dissipate faster because they're in wood? I don't know. I mean, we have a church from 1539. Pensacola is actually the oldest settlement in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They always go, "Oh, St. Augustine's the oldest city." It's like 5 years before that, this was being settled. So, and I just read a bunch of history on this church downtown, and it's so interesting. And there are bodies buried in the church. They dug them up and reinterred them. So we know that they're there, and that this church was used during the Civil War, during the Spanish-American War, all these different things. And they say that it's extremely haunted. Have I been in there yet? No, I've been in front of it because it's in our city square for Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
And all the houses all around this square are, in the historic register. So they're all old. And a bunch of them are on the haunted walking tour, which makes it really easy. You just walk around in a circle or a square. You get to see them all. But it just makes you wonder when you look at these houses, and the bulk of them are wood. But it just makes you wonder about the stone tape theory. Is it because the foundation of the house is stone? Is that why? But if you look at any house, you're going to find some stone somewhere.
Right. And it may not necessarily be whether the hauntings are different just because it's wood versus brick. I just think it's the energy level that you're going to capture is going to be different.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to check that out some more, because, like Malvern Manor got stone basement, but everything else is wood.
Right.
And I don't know. I haven't even really thought about that. I just know that these places are haunted, and Ashmore's all brick and dirt. So
yeah.
and Malvern, or not Malvern, Villisca is all three.
Right.
So who knows? I guess it's something else, another theory that we need to check out. So
yeah, always something to too.
I know that everybody's thinking about the football game and what's going on there. And how can everybody, and so I'm going to let the show end here, but can you tell everybody where to find you, Jill?
Yeah, if you want to check out the lodge, our website is haunted1861masonic.com. Otherwise, the Boyd House is boydhouse217.com. And then you can find either one of those also on Facebook. You can look us up and check us out that way too.
Okay, can you say that the one for the Masonic Lodge again?
That's haunted1861masonic.com.
I'm going to put that in there. And the other one
is boydhouse217.com.
Okay, I will make sure that I put that in there when the show's over so everybody can go out and check it out. Do
Awesome.
you want to does your St. Croix Paranormal, does it have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we are on Facebook, and then you can find all our stuff on YouTube under St. Croix Paranormal. So we have a lot of stuff from the Boyd House. We just put our first video out for the lodge, and then just kind of all of our fun places we've been throughout the many years we've been together. So a lot of fun things to look at.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it more than you know.
Again.
And I want you to stay warm up there. I hope that you have a good winter.
Hopefully. We haven't had much snow, so hopefully it'll stay that way.
Well, you guys sometimes get snow at weird times too. So
yeah, hopefully it's not late.
So, and everybody out there, please stay warm and make sure that you bring your dogs in, check on the elderly, things like that. And like I said, please keep Howard Petrie in your prayers while he's recovering in the hospital. And join us here next Monday night when I have some guests booked, but I don't have it written down. So, and join us here Monday night at 7 p.m. Central. And join us on Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. Central on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, right here on Bill of Rights Network. And hopefully I can bring you good guests so that you'll enjoy, learning something new. So you guys, thank you so much. See you next week. Good night.
Bye.